Hello, everybody. I'm Chase Folsom here with Christopher DeHarde after the final night of the Knoxville Nationals. We are in Victory Lane where Kyle Larson was after winning the 63rd annual Knoxville Nationals just about an hour and a half ago. And he did it in dominating fashion. Chris, I'm just going to give it over to you. What else is there to say about Kyle Larson that we don't already know?
Well, there isn't. That's the problem. It's almost like you take the highlights from the 2023 Knoxville Nationals and put them over the 2024, and I mean everything behind Kyle is going to change. But I mean Kyle up front, that didn't change. He's led the last 100 laps of racing here for the A main feature, something that hasn't been done since the mid 80s with Steve Kinzer behind the wheel. Now, do want to bring up, of course, Giovanni Scelzi. He got second place and also had the best looking car, according to some judges. Third place was Corey Day. Great job for him. Corey Day also winning the Hard Charger Award as well. Great job for those two. But back to our winner, Kyle Larson. We can't say anything about him. I mean, he's pulled in here 3 of the last 4 years, won a lot of money. And there were actually some sizable boos or jeers in the audience, and Kyle had to realize, oh, wow, they might be booing me because I win too much. But that's what happens when you have great equipment. Paul Silva has given him fantastic equipment to win with. And, yeah, I don't know what else to say about Kyle Larson. Like, let's just face it, he did the job that we all knew that he could do. It was easy to pick him, which, let's face it, you and I both challenged ourselves with our pre-race picks. We both said, okay, we're not going to pick Kyle Larson because it's too easy. He can do the same thing again, so we're just going to pick other people. And neither of those two drivers that we picked won. But let's face it, picking Kyle was just too easy. So we wanted to make it kind of difficult. Unfortunately, we made it a little too difficult for ourselves, didn't we, Chase?
Absolutely. I mean, yes, Kyle Larson got some boost here tonight, but he's undefeated in a sprint car in the last 2 weeks. He swept the Ironman, he won the Oski on Monday, and now he sweeps Thursday night his prelim and here tonight. You mentioned Giovanni Scelzi. He won Wednesday night prelim. Really solid showing for him. He seemed to be at one point the only guy that had anything for Kyle. He got really close to him just past the halfway break. Didn't have enough for him. Ultimately, Larson pretty much turned on the afterburners. What stood out to you overall about his night, and then Corey Day, the hard charger as well?
Well, Scelzi, he would just close enough to make it seem like he had hope, and then Larson just said, "Nah, kid, you're not taking this from me." But Carson Macedo as well, he finished 4th. He was actually closing on Kyle right before the halfway break, which that's another thing we're going to talk about in a little bit. Macedo fell back and just couldn't quite keep up with the number 57. It's just mind-blowing because, let's just bring it up now. Why not? They had the halfway break here. After 25 laps, there's a 3-minute open red where teams add fuel and can change tires. Do pretty much whatever they want to in 3 minutes. Kyle Larson's team did not change any tires at all in their car. I think every other main, front-running team in the race changed tires. I think it was just a right rear that a lot of them changed. He turned on the afterburners with a tire that was used since the start of the race and still pulled away at the end when other people had a lot newer tires. Let's just call a spade a spade. Kyle played the long game and it worked. What else is there to say? He just made it work.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you have a guy like Kyle Larson, Giovanni Scelzi said in the post-race press conference, he's the greatest driver I've ever seen. There are some people that may disagree with that, but there is no debating that Kyle Larson is one of the greatest drivers of our generation. And he did what he had to do the past 2 years to put himself on the pole, and that gives you a less compelling feature. And I do want to stress much
with a good pill draw. Let's not gloss over that fact. He had the number 1 pill drawn in Thursday night's qualifications. I think he set the 3rd fastest time. That helped him. There's no way around that.
That absolutely helped him, but I just want to stress about this whole event. The past 2 years, we've seen a very uncompelling feature, and with what you have with social media nowadays is that a lot of people think that this event is boring or it was a failure. That's not necessarily true. We saw a fantastic week of racing. Wednesday night's track surface is always a little rough, but Thursday was fantastic. Friday was fantastic. And all the semis before the A main tonight were awesome. I mean, the B main battle for the lead was fantastic at the end. Now, does there need to be a format change? There's a debate to be had there. It's unique that we have a halfway pit stop in the Knoxville Nationals, but do we necessarily need it? Do the teams necessarily need to have the ability to change tires? Maybe it doesn't make a difference because Larson still won the race tonight, but should they have to run 50 laps straight, have to work through lap traffic, the results might be a little different. Some guys that could have benefited from some more yellows tonight, Donnie Schatz, David Gravel, Gravel came from a B. Schatz won last night at Hard Knocks. They both had fantastic drives through the field, just didn't have enough time.
No, Donnie Schatz finished 13th. David Gravel was 12th. Just nothing really worked for Donnie. I mean, he was behind with the whole, first night. He actually had a small incident with David Gravel in the Wednesday night prelim that really messed him up. And then the only thing that went right for him was last night when he was in clean air almost the entire night. So he won from 21st here several years ago. Just the magic just didn't quite work for him. And it was really weird because they went from the original car they had to a second car, and that didn't really seem to have everything working well for him. So maybe it was a situation like Thomas Edison said, I didn't fail 99 times on how to find a light bulb. I just found 99 ways that didn't work. Maybe they just found stuff that just didn't work here that might help narrow the setup window for next year, and Donnie Schatz could end up kicking everybody's butt again here next year, which just to go back a little bit, about another minute and a half or so. Fuel tanks on sprint cars are a bit larger. They absolutely could run this race without a halfway break, and I think that would be a fun format change to see next year, to have them fully fueled up and burning it off, through the race. I think it actually could be doable.
Yeah, and I will say that is the only format change they should make, because the rest of the qualification formats is fantastic. It's unique, and it only happens right here at Knoxville. If you guys have never been to the Knoxville Nationals, this was my personal first time here. It is fantastic. The spectacle of this event, even if the feature isn't always the greatest, is unmatched. It is one of one. So just quick note about one other competitor in the field, Rico Abreu. He was a favorite to win tonight, second on Thursday. They broke a front wing early, and he had a mechanical failure just past halfway that knocked him out of the event. That's just about going to do it from us for the Knoxville Nationals, the 63rd running of the granddaddy of them all. For Christopher DeHarde, I've been Chase Folsom. Good night from Knoxville Raceway, and we'll see you next year.
Alex Gins for Frontstretch.com. Come back for more great racing content, and if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.